Joblessness, illiteracy, lack of skills, and poverty. These are just some of the grim realities facing young rural people today. But there's a ray of hope in the form of the National Rural Youth Service Corps, or more commonly known as NARISEC.
I've asked my team to engage the University of the Free State. They've got one of the best faculties on agriculture and rural development there. We want the youngsters who are here now to be different. You can see the facilities are different. In the past, there wasn't this kind of facility like the digital doorway that I've come to inspect now. They are here now. These youngsters are going to be very different. And the age has been reduced from 35 to 25. In other words, it's 18 to 25, no longer 18 to 35.
Ke motlotlo hampe ho fumana monyetla ona wa ho tla ba le letona ha tlo bula mosebetsi ona o motle o moholo hakana o amanang le batjha ka hara naha ya rona. Sebaka sena mo re leng teng e tla ba sitsi sa thupello ya batjha lemong tse pedi tseo ba tleng ba leng mona ho sona.
This was an open field, it was a sports field, but now you've got this tents that you see here, these sleeping facilities, ablution facilities, modern technology used here, and as we normally have, we take for granted in towns and townships, etc. Except that they have actually created this facility here. Now, if you look at it, they've got septic tanks underground, they've got piping, so their whole waste is now connected to the municipal system.
The Accelerated Schools Infrastructure Delivery Initiative, ASIDI, is the Department of Basic Education's program to eradicate schools built from inappropriate material, such as mud and planking.
The old building, well, there was problem with the walls and all those things. Now the building is awesome.
Since the school said to Sisicha, it looks like a model, whereas we township. See proud in the school said to and now we can concentrate more without abandonment coming on our side.
Our friends feel very proud of the school because before the building wasn't much to talk about. But now the buildings look very good and there's a bigger sense of pride for the building.
We just like to thank the government and whoever who sponsored us, because now I can talk about my school. I am so proud about my school.
ASIDI, delivering a dividend of democracy to rural and underprivileged areas. 3 years after the Union of South Africa was formed in 1910, the Natives Land Act was passed. This act allocated only about 7% of arable land to black people and left the more fertile land for whites. By 1936, through the Natives Trust and Land Act of 1936, whites owned 87% of the land and blacks were restricted to 13% of the land. This act was the single most destructive action by the government of the day, ripping apart families and businesses.
Ine pleke eneng e re tjesa re lema mo yona ina le metsi kore ele kanana ela masididinotsi.
In the Brits area outside Northwest, communities were evicted from their ancestral land in the Tweerivier 197 JQ district in 1963. They were told to pack up their belongings and were moved to 6 different areas nearby, where they were housed in tents under terrible conditions with no water, sanitation, and fertile land to farm. These areas became the villages of Mamirotsi, Tantanana, Bethany, Palani, Maile, and Jericho. After the eviction, 4 members of the community sought legal assistance. They took the long drive to Johannesburg to look for a law firm and ended up at the law firm of Mandela and Tambo. Nelson Mandela was willing to assist them and sent them back to the community to raise funds. After raising the money, they heard that Nelson Mandela was put in prison. That shattered their hopes of ever getting back their land. Showing its true commitment to education for the many learners from underprivileged backgrounds and disadvantaged schools, the Amatole District Municipality hosted the first of what will hopefully become an annual event, the Mayoral Golf Day 2015. The purpose of this auspicious function was to raise funds for the Adopt a School campaign, which began in 2011. This initiative will go a long way to opening doors for children in rural areas and so invest in the future. The proceeds raised from the fund day go to assisting the adopted schools. With the support of donors and sponsors, classrooms, stationery and uniforms go a long way to ensuring a better learning experience for the children.
This is an initiative that started in 2011 when we adopted a program in Amatole that is called the Adopt a School campaign. It's about ensuring that we help and enrich the future of our learners at school.
The purpose of the exhibition is to document and celebrate the history of the liberation struggle. It was inaugurated in East London in November 2013 and was appropriately launched in Uitenhage at the Draw Stay Museum on the day before Human Rights Day. The morning began with an impressive parade made up of members of the police band and veterans who marched proudly, reflecting on their success. The executive mayor of Amatole District Municipality, Nomasigizi Khonza, was present to hand over the exhibition and to remind us of why something of this nature is very important to a culture. This Armed Struggle Living Museum, as it is known, was the brainchild of the Umkhonto weSizwe Military Veterans Association, and an exhibition of this sort would not be complete without hearing from the people who laid their lives on the line so that South Africa could be free.
Revolution is an act of love. If you leave everything, your youth, you join the struggle, it will take sometimes your life. You'll end up in prison. You'll end up sick in malaria or Gole. You end up dying here. But the choice you have taken, you must be sure. If you are you prepared to go to the camp and read, or you want to go to school? Say no. I come here to train as a soldier.
The Adopt a School Foundation was established back in 2002 when Cyril Ramaphosa, visiting his old primary school, saw the desperate lack of facilities that both learners and teachers had to contend with on a daily basis in order to further the children's education. This initiative has been strongly supported by both private and public sectors to help with the challenges facing many schools in South Africa, including inadequate infrastructure, lack of resources in various areas, and a lack of sanitation and security. The Amatole District Municipality, under the concerned guidance of the Executive Mayor, Nomasigizi Khonza, embraced the initiative in 2011 and has helped a number of schools with essentials such as uniforms, stationery, and classrooms. After an impressive turnout the week before for a golfing day to raise money for the Adopt a School campaign, it was time to visit the school that would benefit this time. Preparations were underway at Ngunigazi Primary School for the arrival of the Executive Mayor and representatives from Standard Bank, who generously donated 2 classrooms.
It is becoming more difficult for young people to find work in the formal sector, and this situation is likely to worsen. Hello, I'm Thabo Mdluli, and we want to present an idea of a series of energetic and exciting television programs aimed at young people who might be thinking of becoming entrepreneurs, who are already entrepreneurs, and those who may have never even thought of the possibility. This series can and will inspire and engender a culture of entrepreneurialism amongst young people. Young people need to express themselves and make their mark on society. Now, if the future looks bleak and hopeless, these young people may turn to crime. There is an understandable frustration when their energy is not channeled correctly. And young people do have energy and imagination, and when the two come together, the possibilities are limitless. And in this series of programs, we want to showcase successful young entrepreneurs in their business endeavors. Because of the power and immediacy of television, we can, through this series, change a mindset and start to create a motivated and active generation while giving our sponsor maximum positive coverage.